All right, Colt, wanted to talk to you about some upcoming movies. I've got a list here of a couple that we can go over. Just wanted to get your thoughts. What was the last movie you saw in the theater?
Ooh, in the theater? I wasn't prepared for a quiz. Actually, I think it was One Piece.
Ah, yeah.
The latest One Piece. That was the last one I saw in the theater.
And the movie aside, how was your theater experience as far as just the building itself and the concessions and the audience?
Expensive.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It wasn't bad. So I love anime, but I was not a One Piece fan. Like I have not delved into it.
Sure.
So not knowing exactly what I was getting into with that, I did not know how the theater would be. They put us in one of the more shoebox theaters where I went, but it was full. It was a good crowd in there, and that particular weekend was opening weekend for it, and it took number one at the box office.
Wow.
So I was pleasantly surprised just from the fact that, again, I love Dragon Ball, and there's some other anime that I watch. I was not as familiar with, did I say One Piece?
You said One Piece.
I don't know if I meant One Piece.
Demon Slayer?
Demon Slayer, that's what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about anime to know the difference between the two, so...
Like I said, I'm a Dragon Ball guy, so
sure.
Demon Slayer was what I see. I apologize. But yeah, it took number one at the box office, and like I said, even though it was a shoebox theater, every show that I looked at to get us into, that was the most open one to get us seats. So I was like, wow, this is bigger than I thought it was. So Demon Slayer, apologies.
Yeah, the nerds come out at night.
They do.
That's for sure.
And I was pleasantly surprised at the film being as good as it was, and then the crowd that was there.
Okay.
So
all right. Well, a couple of them I want to run by you for your thoughts here. First of which, you were talking earlier about The Running Man.
Yes.
This remake of The Running Man. Tell us what you thought about the original.
So the original, I had to go back and rewatch it because it's been a while since I've seen it. I love the original because it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, that's plain and simple the biggest reason why, and it also features Jesse Ventura. But I had to go back and rewatch it because a question I posed to several people, and I think you and I discussed this before too, is do we really love movies, the older ones, because of how great they are, or is it nostalgia? Or what is it about those that make it great? And for me, going back and rewatching Running Man, it's definitely because it's Arnold, but it certainly isn't, by any means, it's not award-winning Grammy scripts, stuff like that.
Sure, no.
The great one-liners and stuff that are in it.
Well, and that's really not why we go back to those movies. I mean, there are movies from that time that, did win awards and were, critically acclaimed, but those... You go back to the mill for something like that because it's sort of a comfort movie for you, and The Running Man, I think, falls into that category. And a lot of those Arnold movies from those days, I mean, Twins, opposite side of the spectrum.
Yeah,
but another
absolutely.
Arnold movie that I feel like maybe didn't get its due by critics, but certainly serves its purpose.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you want to talk with Arnold, I mean, Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
But I still go back. It's a comfort movie for me. I mean, I usually anything with Arnold's a pretty safe bet for me.
And you have to have that. So talking about this new one, in the Arnold role, we've got Glenn Powell. Not as big of a guy.
Right.
Not that shredded look. He's just kind of your everyman. I mean, he's fit, but he
is fit, and they did show a picture of him. He's got some very defined abs. So I wouldn't say shredded. I would say very fit, very muscular for a common man today, but he's not the bodybuilder physique or anything like that. He's definitely, I would say, Running Man fits him more, as far as running.
Sure.
He's got that kind of physique.
Yeah.
And yeah, he is. This is a remake, and he is taking that role of Ben Richards. Mm-hmm. So, in that sense, do you know anything about The Running Man? Do you know a lot about it?
Just the concept in general, like the book or the.
So that's something I learned. I did not realize it was a book.
Well, so I've never read it. I didn't really realize until I saw in the trailers they're promoting one of the writers as Stephen King. And I was like, something's off about that because he does not do screenwriting hardly ever.
And so what I went back and found out from this, it's a 1982 novel. Stephen King used a pseudonym name.
So, did he?
So he wrote the book under the name Richard Bachman. It's a pseudonym. I had no idea.
Interesting.
Did not realize that, but it was a 1982 novel. Stephen King was the writer, but it was published under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. I had no idea.
That's very interesting. You know, the more I look at this new movie, the more I'm starting to get excited for some of the elements of it. I mean, Glenn Powell's had a great past couple of years. He was in Top Gun Maverick. He was in Twisters. Now he's in this new show, Chad Powers. Yes. Which I think they had him in a wig for that one. I think. Yeah.
The little prosthetic action.
Yeah. There's something a little bit different about that. But he's not even though he's the star, he's not the only one. Coleman Domingo, who's been known for his dramatic roles in Lincoln and Selma, and even doing Candyman, the remake from 2021. Now coming into this not so serious role, how do you think he's going to fare in that? He's never really done a role like this, has he?
Honestly, I don't know if he's done a role like this, but from the trailers, it looks good. I hate to discredit anybody for a role, whether it's a new role or, well, for any of their new roles, just because you don't know what their acting chops are. Until you get to see it. Some of them, I've watched films and I'm like, wow, why did you do that? But I think he'll do really well in this one, and I'm honestly excited about that and his role in this as well.
I agree. I think that's another great point to be looking forward to with this movie. And not only that, Josh Brolin also in this movie.
Yeah.
Now, he had a run there for a little while where he was almost exclusively doing superhero movies as Thanos in the Avengers movies and Cable in the Deadpool movies.
Yep.
But if we go back further, he does have an acting career. He was in No Country for Old Men.
Yep.
He's got kind of a deep catalog when it comes to acting, and he can kind of play every side of an action movie, and so I think that he'll fit into this role quite well.
Oh, absolutely. One of my favorite roles of his is playing the young Tommy Thayer K in Men in Black.
Yeah.
I loved him, and the fact that he studied him, and so he likes to study the roles and act.
Just goes to show that he really is a talented actor. He's not just a Marvel grab bag.
No,
pick.
And I think a lot of people recognize him from that too, because you may recognize his voice as Thanos, but because you obviously didn't really get to see him, but then him as Cable, and I think a lot of people are like, "Wow, who's this guy?" I mean, he's so. Coming into those roles, I think, changed an element for him as well.
And someone who can play serious and funny so well both sides is always a valuable aspect in Hollywood.
Yep.
So yeah, just a couple of other big ones I wanna hit some of your thoughts on. October 31st. I don't know how much you know about this movie, but there's a lot of hype online about it. Begonia. Have you heard anything about this?
I have not.
Emma Stone is kidnapped and shaved bald. She's one of the She's one of the top CEOs in the world. They kidnap her and shave her bald. These conspiracy theorists think that the aliens have gotten to her.
Yep, I did see a trailer on this. I didn't realize what it was called. So yeah.
And one of the interesting things, you could have gotten into this, they had an early screening exclusively for bald people. You're missing out.
Nobody called me. I don't understand.
I know it. Directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. That will be his third movie in 3 years. He has put one out every year for the last couple of years, looking to kind of cement his legacy in Hollywood, as he did a lot of European films early on.
Impressive.
But Jesse Plemons, who we know from Breaking Bad, as well as Killers of the Flower Moon and Civil War, and then Emma Stone, who had this big change in her career trajectory from Easy A onto The Amazing Spider-Man onto Poor Things with Yorgos Lanthimos now, and she's into these dramatic roles. So I think that this could be really interesting for her and for all of their careers. And then it'll be interesting to see what comes of that and what people think when that comes out.
I think so too. And then, so we go from a remake, which that's a lot of Hollywood is doing some remakes. I mean, we got the superhero genres right now, which was hard and heavy, and that's taken a big hit as of the past few years. to now we're hitting remakes. Disney is one that is notorious for the remakes heavily. Granted, they may be live, but they're redoing stuff, and not all of it's my cup of tea. To now, this, as far as I'm aware, is a very original film. So I like to see that dynamic in our films right now, because to do just straight remakes and to have so much of that, it's nice to see that somebody's got original ideas.
I completely agree with you, and it's actually funny that you bring up Disney and their unoriginality, because that was where I was going with these last two I've got here. November 26th of this year, Zootopia 2 is going to come out.
Okay.
Which I think could be interesting. I'm not very much in the kids movie world. You have kids; they're not quite so young. They're probably looking to go see.
But I do have my granddaughter.
You do. So that might be something that you're heading to the Windsor to see.
Might be heading. She's definitely one that you got to be sitting at home right now. She's not quite old enough to. I don't think taking her to the theater quite yet. She's
probably not a good idea. No, she's rowdy.
Yeah, she's rowdy. She got that short attention span right now, and so yeah. But that'll definitely be one that we will have to look at picking up on either video or streaming.
Yes, yeah, and so that just kind of goes to show a little bit more about, okay, it's another sequel, and another Disney property. While this is Fox, kind of makes you wonder if James Cameron is tarnishing his legacy. Avatar 3, Fire and Ash, comes out December 19th. Another multi-$100 million movie. It kind of makes you wonder. There was a time James Cameron was making these big epics like Titanic and The Terminator, and now he's kind of gone from an original idea every couple of years to, he made Avatar in 2009, didn't do a whole lot through the 2010s, and now is coming back and has signed on for 7 Avatar sequels. Right. It just kind of makes you wonder, does that tarnish his legacy, having been the man behind the rise of things like The Terminator?
So I got different thoughts, and they might sound a little hypocritical, or opposites of each other. On one hand, yes, I love the constant original ideas and the constant rise of some of those films, and then now you kind of going back to the well, like is it a cash grab? Is it a because studios, Avatar for a while there was battling with Marvel and Star Wars, I want to say, for that, all-time top grossing spot.
Yep.
And I think Avengers took the spot, and then
Avatar 2 took it back.
But Avatar is a Disney property, isn't
it? It is.
So, I mean, Disney's not really
Disney doesn't lose anything. They have, I think they have 9 of the 10 top earning spots in history.
And so so I have to stop and wonder, is it a cash grab? Because they're like, oh, let's do this little battle between the two. And, in the past, some of Cameron's comments have really turned me off to his films. I mean, T2 is far and away one of the best Arnold films ever. I love the Terminator franchise. I love T2. That's probably one of the best Terminators. But Cameron and some of his comments in the past, especially when it comes to like the superhero genre, it's like, now you're turning me off. Why can't I like everything? Why can't I, same thing with Martin Scorsese with some of their comments on that stuff too. It's,
I can completely see your point. And coming full circle from The Running Man with Arnold all the way back to T2 with Arnold, just kind of sum up, even though Arnold isn't in any of these movies anymore, he's kind of been this influence to cinema, even though that was never really his goal.
No. To a degree, I think it was, just because when he was younger, he idolized, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he was another bodybuilder, and he was in Hercules. And so he thought, if I can make it to America, I can be the best bodybuilder. He wanted to be the greatest there, and then he wanted to move on to cinema, and then he wanted to move on to politics. And as of right now, he can only do so much in politics. Being the governor of California at one point, he can't be president just because he was born, this isn't his native country. But everything he set his sights on, he has tackled, and he is, I would say, dominated. Obviously there's films that he didn't have the best, Jingle All the Way, Last Action Hero, you know, weren't the best money makers or anything like that. But you've got films that he did, you know, topple the world with like, you know, Terminator. So it's, you know, Arnold is probably one of the greatest actors ever, in my opinion. I mean, as far as, you know, going from bodybuilding and that being what he wanted to do to, I want to do this now.
Well, that'll do it for us. Make sure that you go to your local theater, go buy some popcorn, and go see the movies and tell us that we're right or wrong. Colt, any final thoughts?
Oh, should they be right or wrong? I mean, it's opinions.
Some people have wrong opinions.
I'm going to agree with that.